So we have some gameplay of all of the reworked perks coming into DBD. Kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today was a developer update stream and they showcased a lot of the reworked perks. Now we will be testing all of this out on the PTB, which is coming on Wednesday. However, they gave us a little glimpse of everything and I wanted to share it with you guys a little bit early so we can see what these perks look like on paper. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into everything. The first perk that we have on the list is Saboteur. So now when you are playing as the survivor, you'll be able to see exactly where the scorch hooks are and the other hooks when you're using the perk and the killer picks up a survivor. This is actually pretty impressive because you'll know what hook the killer is more than likely to go towards, and this is an actual big game changer if you're trying to Sabo hooks, which happens more often than you think in some games. Especially if you're in a Swift, you can easily deny the killer some easy regression points on generators by sabotaging these hooks. And chances are sometimes if they're going to these scorch hooks, they might run a very far ways along to get there, hoping that they would get it. And if you sabotage their hook, they're probably gonna let the survivor wiggle out. So this is actually better than it seems on paper, and I'm looking forward to it. The next one that we have on the list for you is Pharmacy. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Every time you search a chest while injured, you'll be granted with an emergency medkit, and this is pretty good. You can get yourself a ton of medkits if needed, and nothing too shabby about this perk. I still think it'll be a little bit mediocre, but if you need to farm a med kit or something like that, you can get one quite easily doing it this way, or consistently heal over and over. Now with self-care being nerfed and botany knowledge being buff, you might see this in a lot more builds, especially since you can get some pretty quick heals throughout the entirety of the match. The next perk on the list that we have is Lightweight, and my god, is it good. Lightweight is even better than it was back in the days. We used to use Lightweight all the time in our survivor builds, and now it is actually pretty damn good. I think everyone's going to be swapping out Iron Will for Lightweight, my personal opinion. Lightweight makes your scratch marks disappear a lot faster, and on top of that, it also makes it so that some scratch marks don't actually appear, which is absolutely massive. You're literally going to be running around, and in patches, you're not going to leave scratch marks, making it very difficult sometimes for the killer to keep track of you, especially if you're on an indoor map or anything like that. This is really impressive, and I'm definitely swapping out Iron Will myself for this. It's going to be absolutely huge, and I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen. Moving on forward, we have NOED, and as you guys know, the change to NOED is that every few seconds, the radius of NOED will be revealed to everybody, and every time it's passed, the radius expands, and the survivor will see where the totem is at. So NOED is basically going to be a perk where the killer can get a surprise hit essentially on maybe one, maybe maximum two survivors, and then everyone's going to be looking around. The closer you are to the totem, the easier it is to spot and to get rid of it. And on top of that, if you can't find the totem, the radius will continuously expand to make sure you go and cleanse it. It's going to make it so killers are going to hover around their NOED totem a little bit more, and smart killers are going to hook people very close to the NOED totem. So if anybody wants to get the save, they're going to have to run past the killer, and NOED is right there, so they're guarding both at once. The issue with that is, you know, if anybody doesn't come for it, you'll just secure your one extra kill, and if you're using NOED just for one or maybe maximum two kills, this could work. But if you've been relying on a perk just to get kills because of poor gameplay, then it won't make up for it. So NOED, pretty strong nerf. Next thing on the list is D-Strike, and D-Strike is dead, folks. There's still an animation. It kind of looks like you're dabbing. You still have this animation, so killers know when you're using dead hard. There's no added distance with it anymore. You just get this animation where you're doing the little run, and it's quite interesting. You can still time this well if you are a good survivor, but besides that, I mean, the killer can still easily bait this out since you're not getting the distance and get you quite easily. Some smarter players might wait next to window vaults or anything like that. You might even run a couple of perks that expand the timer for after getting hit to have a little bit more speed, and combining that with the new decisive or dead hard could be pretty good, and it's pretty interesting to say the least. And honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like a lot of players are still going to be using it, but just not in the masses. We're not going to see a 70% use rate of dead hard Sprint Burst is going to skyrocket to the top, but Dead Hard is still a pretty good perk, and you still can get a free hit with it if you use the perk correctly. Nowhere near its glory, and if you're using it for distance, you're not going to have that benefit of it, but that is the reality of the new NOED, the new Dead Hard, and it's pretty interesting. The next perk on the list that I was really keen about, and we made a video saying this is going to be the new meta, is Overcharge. And as you can see in the footage, the White's staring at this generator, and it is losing progress crazily fast. And over time, it will lose more and more progress. And Dragon's Grip is going to be so phenomenal on this because survivors are going to rush to that generator. They're going to try to get it. And what ends up happening is that it will keep going down. And if they touch it, they'll get Dragon's Grip. Then you just hit them with the exposed, knock them down, rinse, repeat. It's going to be nasty, and I can't wait to try that out and see how that goes. And if they refuse to touch it because they don't want the exposed and Dragon's Grip, then the generator will lose so much of its progress. Combine that with Pop or Scourge Hook, and you're looking at a nasty, nasty build. And I'm pretty excited for it. The next one on the list is Coulrophobia, and these skill checks are fast. They are super duper fast. Running this on the Doctor is going to be absolutely nuts, especially with the stressing. Survivors are going to have such a hard time hitting these skill checks. And if you're running with Overcharge too, the impossible skill check Doctor is going to be something. Forever builds might actually come back with Coulrophobia having these fast skill checks, especially if you're running it with Hemorrhage and then it just knocks all the progress down. It'll be quite interesting to see what this one's going to do. I still think it's pretty mediocre. You can get out of the killer's terror radius and heal there, but you know, we got to wait and see. Next on the list is Monstruous Shrine, and Monstruous Shrine is actually not that bad. I thought that this was going to make basement builds really good, but it adds about maybe 5 to 7 seconds of killing the survivor quicker and guarantees them to get into the second state a lot faster. Combine this with Make Your Choice or something along the lines of that, Devour Hope. It can work pretty good because it rewards you for being far away from the person that's on the hook. I don't mind it whatsoever, and I think with specific builds, it could work quite well. And there you go, folks. That is pretty much all of the little teases that they gave to us. It is looking pretty stellar and pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited to see exactly how all of these perks are going to work out. There's a ton of other perks that have been changed, over 40 in total, and we're going to test it all out on the PTB coming this Wednesday. So we're going to test all of that. Make sure you are leaving a like down below, subscribing for some more content like this. We'll see you there. If you're not subscribed, by the way, please double check if you are. We're trying to hit 150,000 by the end of the year, and over 70% of you guys are not subbed. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. What perks are you most excited to see being changed? I'm ready to see Dead Hard being gone, the changes to D-Strike, and how it's going to feel on the survivor side, not worrying about 20 different regression perks on generators. It's going to be quite a fun experience, and I can't wait to test it all. That's going to do it for me. As always, I'm the King. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fight.